Let's start with a question, a really big one. A question that, if you think about it too long, can feel pretty unsettling. It gets to the heart of why we do anything at all. Seriously, what if it all just ends? I mean, everything. Our cities, our art, every book ever written, every memory we've ever made. All of it just gone, erased by the sheer scale of cosmic time. If it all gets wiped away, then what's the point? And this isn't some abstract thought experiment, is it? It's a real personal feeling. It's that quiet little voice that sometimes whispers, does any of this actually matter? It hits right at our basic human need to feel like our lives have some kind of significance. But here's the interesting part. This fear is not new. Not at all. Long before we had fancy terms like the heat death of the universe, our ancestors were wrestling with the exact same feeling. So let's take a look at how they stared into that same abyss and found a way to make peace with it. You see, for a lot of ancient thinkers, creation and destruction weren't opposites fighting each other. They were just a package deal, a natural rhythm. They looked around and saw that things rise and things fall. That's just how the world works. It wasn't a tragedy, it was just the truth. Take a guy like Plato, for example. He didn't see human history as this one long, straight line of progress. He imagined it more like a series of waves. A civilization would get bigger and better, reach these amazing heights, and then, boom, a catastrophe, a flood, or a fire would come along and reset everything. Humanity would have to start over from scratch. The Stoics? They took that idea and went cosmic with it. They had this concept called ekpyrosis. The idea was that the entire universe, everything, would eventually be consumed in a giant fire, just dissolving back into pure energy. But here's the wild part. They didn't think this was a bad thing. To them, it was like a natural, necessary cleanse, a reset button that allowed the whole universe to be born all over again. So, the big takeaway from the ancient world is this. They got it. They understood that nature has rules, it has limits. And the idea that anything we make could last forever, to them, that was just a fantasy, an illusion. They accepted that things don't last, and they built their whole philosophy around that fact. Okay, so we're all scared of the end. That makes sense. But what if we're looking at this all wrong? What if the real horror isn't that life is too short? What if it's the thought of it going on forever? Let's just flip the script for a minute. Just imagine it. You get to live forever. You never get old, never get sick. You could learn every language, master every instrument, see every corner of the earth, and then some. It sounds pretty good, right? The ultimate dream. Or is it? Let's really think about it. You'd have to watch every single person you ever love grow old and die. Again and again and again. Your own memories from 1,000 years ago would start to blur and fade. Would you even be the same person? And with no deadline, no urgency, why would you ever get out of bed in the morning? You might just see all of human history as this tiny, repetitive, silly little play. It sounds less like a dream and more like a prison. And that's the paradox, isn't it? Real living, the kind of life that feels rich and full of purpose, it actually seems to need limits. That finish line is what gives the race its meaning. An endless life might just be an endless boredom. All right, so if total annihilation is terrifying and living forever is a trap, where does that leave us? Well, this is where we get to the good part. It's about finding a way to build a meaningful life, not in spite of the end, but actually because of it. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche looked this problem right in the eye. He got that feeling that all our hard work, all our striving, could just be a pursuit of wind, Effort that just blows away and amounts to nothing. But he didn't just give up and call it a day. He posed a challenge. And the existentialist answer is so simple and so powerful. Meaning isn't some secret thing hidden out there in the cosmos that you have to go find. It's not a discovery, it's a construction. It's something you build yourself with your own two hands through the choices you make every single day. This image says it all, really. You go to the beach, you build a beautiful sandcastle, you know the tide is coming in, you know it's not going to last. But that doesn't stop you. The point isn't the permanent castle. The point is the joy, the focus, the creativity of building it right here, right now. The meaning is in the act itself. Albert Camus talked about this with the myth of Sisyphus, the guy doomed to push a rock up a hill forever, only to have it roll back down every time. Sounds miserable, right? But Camus said we have to imagine Sisyphus happy. Why? Because Sisyphus accepts his reality and finds his purpose not in some fantasy of reaching the top, but in the struggle. The meaning is in the pushing of the boulder. So if meaning is something we create in the struggle, in the face of an inevitable end, what does that actually mean for us? How are we supposed to live? This isn't just philosophy anymore. It's about real-world choices. It seems like there are three main ways to go. One, we can resist. We can fight it with everything we've got, pour all our resources into science to defeat death and entropy. Two, we can do what the Stoics did and just accept it. Find a sense of peace in letting go of the need for permanence. Or three, we can walk a middle path. We can build and create and love with everything we have, all while knowing and accepting that it won't last forever.
And maybe that forces us to ask a different question. Is destruction really an end, or is it just a transformation? Maybe it's less like a book being burned and more like a forest fire that clears out old brush so new things can grow.
You know, this is a piece of wisdom you find everywhere, from ancient Buddhism to the Stoics we just talked about. The moment you stop fighting the fact that things end and you just embrace it, something amazing happens. You're set free. Suddenly, every single moment becomes incredibly precious because you know it's temporary. So maybe our purpose isn't a thing we achieve or a place we get to. Maybe the purpose is the process itself, the act of becoming. It's found in the courage it takes to create something new, the strength to endure loss, and the incredible bravery of loving someone or something, knowing full well that it all has an end date. So, does the universe build everything up just to watch it fall? Yeah, maybe it does. But think of it this way. The fact that a book has a last page doesn't make the story pointless. In fact, it's the very thing that makes every single page count.